Okay.
Boom.
All right, now we're ready. Now you can share the story because I actually, admittedly, I don't even know what the fully know what the challenge is.
Okay, so this last week I made. So my husband loves spicy things.
Oh
Okay,
wait,
he.
pause again. We didn't. Welcome back to Oddities. God damn it! I'm fucking Cassie.
I'm Kellie.
Welcome back to Strange Town. All of our shit is in the description. Okay, now proceed.
So, listeners, I was just telling Cassie how last week I made my husband do the one chip challenge, and Cassie said, admittedly, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
So, this is what it is. Here's the thing: my husband, Michael, loves spicy shit. He loves spicy foods. He has a pretty high tolerance for it and everything. And one day, a few weeks ago, he's like, we were eating some really good spicy Mexican, and
Spicy.
he's like, I really want to try the Carolina Reaper. And I
Oh my
was like,
god.
you have a death wish, because that's like the hottest
Yeah, it's
pepper
like the
in
it's hotter than
existence.
ghost peppers.
Yeah. And he's had ghost peppers and really enjoyed them. So
Hmm.
there's that. So, I was at Walgreens of all places, and I saw the freaking one chip challenge, and I was like, he wants to try the Carolina Reaper. Grabbing you and taking you home. Took it home, and I showed him, and I was like, I'm going to record you doing this. And he's like, well, no one can see it. And I was like, beg to differ. Cassie, my parents, they all
False.
get to see it.
Yeah, exactly. So what is the challenge? Like he has to eat
So
the chip?
it's literally just one chip. That looks horrifyingly painful and is bright blue, actually.
It's a
Bright dark blue. It's blue, yeah.
really. Oh.
Which should be, red flag number one. Actually, red flag number two. Number one is the fact that it comes in a box that looks like a coffin.
That'll be red flag one. Yep.
So you're supposed to eat the entire chip and survive.
I survived. That's the challenge. Eat it and don't die.
And, he did really good, and his mouth was very blue. The problem was, he got through it, and it was after 30 minutes, he was totally fine, and a few cups of milk, he was totally fine. But it was an hour and a half later, he started having severe pain, and it's known as the gut bomb.
Oh god.
And so, here's a fun fact about my husband, everyone, and I hope he doesn't kill me for this. He cannot burp.
Really?
He physically is unable to burp.
Oh my god.
And it's that part is paralyzed or something, and he's never really been able to. And so he had all this gas building up, and it was too high,
Oh my
and he
god.
couldn't burp it out, and well, he couldn't go the other way. So
Oh my god.
he was just laying there in agonizing pain because of this but gut bomb thing.
Yeah.
And he survived after I ran right back to Walgreens and got him Pepto-Bismol.
Okay, yeah, I was like, how did you fix it?
And
Okay.
quite frankly, the best part of that was it was the same cashier that checked me out earlier.
Oh my god, did they remember you?
And he's just scanning the items, and he's like, so I'm going to assume the chip did not go well.
I love that.
And I said, it did not. And he goes, maybe you should get some Gas X. I said, I already tried that. It didn't work. He requested this. And he's like, well, good luck to you both. Just, I was mortified.
I love
But
that.
he survived the one chip challenge. And it was very entertaining for both me, my sister, and my children who watched it happen.
He 100% had to shit flames the next day.
Oh, he was in pain all night and all day. The next day, he was just like, this is not fun, and don't do it, and I will not do it again. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't very fun.
Okay,
then,
so not worth it.
and then he was talking to my dad about it, and by the way, showed my father the video, and he laughed his ass off. So that was great. But he brought up the fact that there was some guy at his work that I bought it and hasn't done it yet, and I was like, tell him just say no to drugs. That's kind of the
I love
just say
it.
no.
Just say no, kids. Don't fear the Reaper, but do. I love
Big
it.
time.
I love that.
But yeah.
Wow, now I know. Okay, well, I like spicy food, but I don't like spicy food when all you can taste is spicy. You know what I
Flames.
mean? Yeah. Flames! Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't like, I like a little kick, but I like to still be able to taste the flavor of the foods that it's kicking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
No, I do, because that was me the other night eating spicy garlic edamame,
Oh my God.
and like it was fine if I just kept eating it because
Mm-hmm.
the flavors were there and it was so delicious. But if I stopped, immediate flames.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and then it's
Did
just
not
like,
enjoy that part.
and then you're just sitting there and you're like, and it's just like spicy. I don't know, you know?
All the spice. Yeah.
Yeah. So, or like when your lips start like burning, I'm like, this is too much for me.
Everything's numb.
Like, I don't want it to be the kind of thing where like if I have a little residue on my hand and I accidentally like wipe my eye and then I'm blind.
My
Like,
dad did that once.
Oh my God, no.
We were driving to Las Vegas and we got Tommy's. I don't know if you know what Tommy's is, but it's a
I
famous
don't.
restaurant out here.
Oh, okay.
And he got Chili's with his food. And he forgot that he ate Chili's.
Oh my God, and he was
Like
was he the one driving?
And he was driving and he
Oh,
went to
God.
wipe his eye and it was not. It was
Oh
not
my
a good
God.
time.
It
And
was
also
not a
that
good
was
time.
coincidentally the same trip. So it was just me, my dad, my sister and her friend, my mom and my other sister at the time was living there. And my dad hated Lady Gaga on that trip so much.
Oh my God,
Because
why?
all that was playing on the radio was Poker Face, and
Oh my God.
he was gonna lose his shit because he was in the car with three girls who were like Poker Face, and he's like, shut up.
Oh my God, your dad had zero fun on that trip. Excuse me. Oh my God, I
So
love it.
yeah, that's my fun little tale.
Wow. Well, I just realized that by the time this comes out, I'm pretty sure our Lord and Savior Taylor Swift's new album is out. I think. Do I have that right? Let me look at the spreadsheet.
Please look it up because that'll be so.
Yes, it came out 2 days ago. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like though she's gonna release it early. I don't know why. I feel like something's gonna come out earlier, and then there's gonna be more on that 21st. I don't know why. It's just a.
Maybe. I hope so. God, I hope so. Well, I mean, now I'm on the part of TikTok where I think everybody here on I think all the Odd Fam knows that I'm like a gayler. Like I'm a huge supporter of
100%.
the theory that Taylor Swift is gay. And like I mean honestly, it doesn't really matter and I'm not here to really speculate or anything like that, but once you fall down this rabbit hole and you see all of these like little things that all these like people who are in on the conspiracy like point out, you're like, oh my God, maybe she is, which like all the power to her. And I freaking love that because like growing up, she was like America's sweetheart and everything else. And it would be like such
big
like
time.
the ultimate fucking middle finger. I feel like if all of a sudden she's like, I am gay. I would
She
be
just
so
jumps
here
out
for
of a
it.
closet in one of her music videos.
Oh my God, I would for sure support it. Love it. Anyway, everybody's saying this is going to be like her coming out album, which like I fucking hope so.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Hold on, I have to look something up.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, now we're at the point where like it's coming when we're recording this, it's coming out in like a month and change, and like everybody's just like looking at they are so analyzing everything she's doing that like I can't stop watching.
Do you know what happens 10 days before her album is set to release?
What?
National Coming Out Day.
Oh, for the love of God. What if she does that and then she releases a visual like album to accompany the album on the 21st? What if she does that? Wow, well I guess at this point we'll know, won't we? Wow, future selves, what is it? What do we know?
I can't wait for 2 days after
I know,
her
and then
album
like
being released for us to talk to our past selves.
I know, oh, well past self. Let me tell you. Yeah. So anyway, oh, and I forgot to mention because we're recording back to back this week, so I usually forget to save like a fun what's going on in my world, but I actually forgot to include this last time. Corey and I are spending this afternoon going Halloween decoration shopping. I am so fucking excited. We desperately need we need outdoor decorations so badly. Our inside of the house is like lit. We're fine. It's the outside because in our last house we didn't get any trick-or-treaters. So we were like, well, I guess like fuck it, whatever. But now we're like flat out. It's kids everywhere in this neighborhood. We're gonna get trick-or-treaters out the ass.
I really want you to get the 12-foot skeleton.
Dude, we looked that motherfucker up though, and it's like $400. Otherwise, we
Oh,
for sure.
never mind.
I know, I know. I really want one too, because we belong to like this Facebook group that's like for the, like I guess technically like the borough that we're part of, and somebody posted that they had their 12-foot skeleton up, and then people were like hating on them in the comments, and then it was like a 50-50 split. Like people were like hating on them. Like one person was like, "Take down this atrocity. Somebody should call the police on them. It's too early for this." I'm like, "Wow, fun police. Who shit on your fucking shoe this morning?" And then the other half is like, "I love this. I'm gonna come see it." I very much belong in that camp. Like
The half that's like, I love this, I feel
yeah.
like you all need to come together and just create a skeleton army.
Yeah, and just like go find that fucking person that said that shit and just like fucking shit skeletons on their fucking lawn.
Yes.
The end. That's all.
Done. You know what? There's somebody on TikTok who's had that skeleton up for year round. Mm-hmm. And they keep dressing him up for the different holidays.
I fucking love that. I love that.
And like they've gotten a lot of like, this is really unacceptable crap, and like every time it's unacceptable or like they get some sort of hate, they make him dress up in something atrocious and just like suck on that, Karen.
I love that so much. The only time that I would probably be like a little bit bitter is if I was the next door neighbor and I was trying to sell my house. That is the only time I'd be like, "Can you like maybe just take this down for like a week and let's see if we can just..." I feel like
you would have to put like a disclaimer in the house anytime someone came to look at it. Look, I know it seems weird. They're actually extremely nice. They'll bring you cookies.
They are wonderful neighbors. There's just a skeleton always out, and either you're for it or you're against it.
And quite frankly, like he's just become like a good family member of the neighborhood. Just leave it.
Yeah, he's the only one that gets invited to the block party. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
I love that. Wow. Well, this was another rager of an opener for us. We're now 12 minutes in.
Hey, we've had multiple people tell us how much they love our opening, so...
Yeah, you guys don't come here for the topics. You come here for this shit. So welcome. I hope you had a good time. Stay strange. See you later. We're going to talk about some weird shit now, though.
Oh, yeah. Mine's kind of like a two-parter, and it starts off light, and it dives into kind of darkness at the end. So, like, small disclaimer, it's a bit of true crime.
Ooh, crime.
And it's really... unsure whether or not it's true or false, so continue at your own risk.
Okay, yeah. Well, if yours gets a little dark at the end, let's start with yours because mine's fucking way out there and ridiculous. So I'll finish us on a happy note.
Though I'm not gonna lie, because the title has me curious.
This is the dumbest name for a cryptid ever, but go ahead. Just go ahead.
So I'm gonna talk about the mysteries of Lake Tahoe.
Tahoe. I think I covered like a long while back something about Lake Tahoe, like babies crying in Tahoe or something. So I
promise you that's not what I'm covering.
No. I'm just saying. I think there's like a lot of weird shit going on in Tahoe.
Oh, there is some spooky shit in my opinion, and just strange. Also. But this is Strange Town, so it's
we've come to the right place, haven't we?
The topic found the right people. Anywho, so like I said, I'm gonna start light, but it's gonna get spooky and a little dark.
Good, so, yes, dark and spooky. Just a heads up on there.
There is a mysterious and spooky house on the undeveloped east side of Lake Tahoe. It has a crazy past involving a reclusive millionaire. Fucking love that term.
Same. That's what I want. That's what I want for my fucking future. Goals. Please.
This reclusive millionaire and his many exotic animals. The undeveloped Nevada side of Lake Tahoe is all thanks to millionaire George Whittle Jr., a.k.a. the Captain.
Wait, is the Captain the reclusive millionaire? This guy's got so many cool titles. Okay, all right.
And I don't know if anybody has watched How I Met Your Mother, but that only made me think of the one character, the Captain. So that's the image I've got in my head.
I love it.
He bought the land with the intention of building a giant lodge, casino, mix thing.
Like you do.
But fell in love with the fact that he had no neighbors.
Oh my god, I have never related to anything more in my life. Right. Ever.
I'm like, this guy knows what's up.
Yeah.
So he just chose to keep the land, which was 500 acres, all for himself and his pets.
I love this. This is my new
better
idol.
and better, right? He built a Tudor-style stone mansion alongside the lake with a card house and a caretaker's cottage. The captain had many exotic animals, two notably being a lion that he took literally everywhere. Apparently, like, the lion would ride in his convertible with him.
What the fuck? I
Also,
love
the lion's name was Bill.
I love a good reclusive eccentric millionaire. Fantastic. Oh god.
And he also had a beautiful elephant by the name of Mingo. And this is where my topic is coming from, Miss Mingo the elephant.
Okay.
Apparently, at some point, like, Mingo was not doing well in Tahoe and that climate, and was also missing, it's her friend, a zebra, which was in California. So
Oh my god.
the millionaire, the captain, wanted to take Mingo back home to
good.
her original place because he just knew she wasn't happy. Allegedly, there was a accident with Mingo.
Okay.
And she somehow drowned in Lake Tahoe.
No.
Now, this is where it's like, is it, or did it happen, or didn't it happen? And is she still there?
Okay.
Like, there was, like, multiple sources where people were like, no, this didn't actually happen. We just say that so people stay out of the lake.
Of all the things that you could tell people, like,
right.
Okay.
And others say that the captain was specifically going to use a seaplane to transport her. However, in 2 test runs with the weight of what she would be on the plane, it crashed into the lake. And so he ended up building her a private garage with perfect climate control, and she lived happily in there.
Oh my god, okay, let's go with that one.
I'm going to go with that one. But
yeah.
The idea of an elephant being in Lake Tahoe is kind of cool, though.
It is. I also love the concept of an elephant on a seaplane. Have you seen those things? They're like so fucking small.
My brain could not wrap around that image. I'm just throwing. I tried.
So small.
Yeah. You know, the captain seems like this really cool recluse, millionaire, exotic human being, right? You know, he was a dick.
Oh.
He had many mistresses, and he also did not like that a journalist had written a statement about him and invited her to his lodge, only to lock her, and this is like literally fact-checked, only to lock her in the dungeon of his house where the lion's den was, until she agreed to retract the statement.
Jesus Christ! Alright, this guy was an asshole. I mean, still goals, like the setup, but not the guy.
Right? And if you would like to visit his home now, it is now the Thunderbird Lodge, and you can take tours and hear about the spookalbookala things.
Holy shit!
Right.
That's crazy.
So, that's like the lighter of it, even though, like, I don't like the idea of Mingo being at the bottom of Tahoe.
Yeah, I hope not.
This is a good, nice little segue into a darker dive, and I guess I used that word properly, for the dance floor of Lake Tahoe.
What the fuck? Guys, what is going on in Tahoe? What are you doing?
And I would like to, like, what comes to your mind when you hear dance floor of Tahoe?
I mean, for me, I go straight to disco for some reason. I really don't know why. What goes on in your mind?
I'm thinking, I kind of thought the same thing.
Okay.
But, like, maybe not disco, but, like, I don't know, like a dance hall.
Yeah, right.
But this is specifically the dance floor of Lake Tahoe.
Okay,
so,
interesting.
It is believed that Tahoe has been one of the largest dumping grounds for dead bodies, including the bodies of the Chinese railroad workers and the victims of mob killings.
Jesus Christ.
11 years ago, a body was recovered out of Lake Tahoe, so 2011.
Okay.
He was identified as Donald Christopher Whitaker, who had died 17 years prior to his body being found.
Oh, well, that body was key word there being remains. There is not much left at that point.
Except
Really?
there was.
Really? Is it very salty water?
It was very cold water.
Ah, okay, touche. Yes.
So his body was found, and it was 90% preserved and recognizable
Shut up,
because of the cool
really?
temperatures and because of his wetsuit he was wearing, protecting him from,
Oh, like bottom feeders and whatnot.
yeah, and because the water is cold, I guess that prevents bodies from floating.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Interesting.
So I loved your face when you're like, it was remains, not a body.
Yeah, I was like, it's got to be nothing. But you're right. That's a good point.
So, because of the cool temperatures of the lake, his body was able to be preserved. Because of those temps, bodies won't float. Now let's jump back to the workers of the railroad and
Okay.
the mob victims. A resident from Carson City states that his grandparents lived in Tahoe for 30 plus years, and his grandma would always say that back in Tahoe's heyday, don't know what that means.
Okay.
But,
Yep.
but I like the way it's said.
Sure.
And when the Rat Pack was running around, the mafia, running around with the mafia they were connected to, they did not hesitate to get rid of certain people.
That's so mafia.
Right? A Lake Tahoe expert says he has doubts. He notes that when Frank Sinatra visited the lake in the 1960s, and him and his associates were heavily covered and watched by authorities, making crime impossible.
Okay.
Except, like,
if
if all eyes were on him, there's more than just Frank Sinatra. Just throwing that out there.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
maybe you didn't think that through.
Yeah, right.
And it was also, he also pointed out that the mob problem was really focused in southern Nevada, where it was very easy to bury bodies in the desert.
Okay.
Also, I would just like to note right now that Lake Mead is drying up, and they found several bodies in barrels. And if that doesn't scream mafia, I don't know what does. Anyhoozles.
All of this is like the most mafia thing in the universe right now.
Right?
Yeah, I love it.
So that, like, are there bodies in lake because of the mob? Aren't they? I mean, if you watch any movies, it seems like everyone gets bricks to their feet and thrown into the right.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
like,
I'm of the school of thought, like, yeah, probably.
Right, but who knows? Now this is where it gets pretty sad.
Okay.
And so just a heads up on that. And again, maybe it's possible, maybe it's not possible, but there's been sightings, so who knows.
Oh, good.
The Chinese immigrants that were brought here, or specifically to Truckee, California, to work on the railroad, there was hundreds of them. When the railroad was finished and the government didn't want to pay them or give them their promised citizenship, it is believed that they took them to the lake, tied them in large groups, weighed them down, and drowned them in Lake Tahoe.
Oh, shit.
Rumor states not only are there hundreds of people down there, but they are all perfectly preserved due to the cold temperatures. It has been said a filmmaker got a hold of a deep-sea diving machine and found where all the people were, and he went down to see it himself because he wanted to do a documentary on it. After doing the dive, he came back up and said he will not make the documentary because the people of the world aren't ready to see what the government did to these immigrants.
Jesus Christ. I mean, the government sucks, so I'm going to go with, like, yeah, that probably happened. Like, it is not a surprise to me.
So, because, like, there's been multiple notes of, because of the conditions of the lake, being able to preserve bodies and because they don't float and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
These dead bodies are known for the dance floor in Lake Tahoe.
Oh my god, is it because they're, like, swaying and stuff down there?
Swaying, and it's just, like, quite a large group of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Bodies are preserved, and it's a little eerie. It's more
than
a little eerie.
Yeah.
So, the mob stuff, Chinese immigrants, kind of, like...
I mean, yeah. I would believe way more far-fetched things than both of those.
Right? Yeah, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I don't know. Do our listeners believe that there's truly a dance floor at the bottom of Lake Tahoe? Do
Dude,
you believe
it's
that there's a dance floor at the bottom of Lake Tahoe?
I would 100% believe that, and I also now take back my statement. It is very much not a disco. We are very much not having a good time at the bottom of
No.
Tahoe. Like, um, although I guess too, like, well, I mean, I don't know, like, so how deep is it? Because I guess in my mind it's like, well, I'm sure other people dive in Tahoe and stuff. Like, I'm sure other people have seen this, and like,
So,
and like every person that's seen it, I'm sure wasn't like the world's not ready to see it because somebody somewhere wants to profit off of something like that, you know?
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got this topic off of the good old Tiki Talk Clock app.
Tic Tac, yeah.
And the way that they broke it down in science, and I say that loosely
Mm,
because of who I'm speaking to right now,
mm, mm-hmm.
specifically where the dance floor is located, apparently, which by the way, I can't find where that location is.
Right, right.
Um, it is a certain depth and it stays a certain temperature year round. It never
Yeah,
changes. So that has a lot to do with it because that's not the obviously lakes, oceans, they all have different depths in different
yeah,
areas, right? So I wouldn't say it's all over Lake Tahoe, but I don't know that I ever want to swim in Lake Tahoe. Also, I'm pretty sure my
yeah.
parents went to Tahoe once upon a time, and like the water was super clear, like
Isn't it?
crystal clear.
Yeah, like I'm picturing it, and it's like I feel like in all the pictures, it's like this bright, clear blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So
Yeah, but if it's deep enough, you know.
there you go. And if if everyone's being weighed down,
Right. I
gosh, that's
don't.
such a horrifying thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should fall into the realm of like I believe that like the mafia and the government could have done those atrocities. Do I necessarily
Right?
believe they're all still down there today
No.
without somebody else going and looking and like broadcasting it? Probably not.
Right?
That's kind of where I sit. I still
Well,
think it's
especially
crazy.
if this filmmaker did go down there,
Yeah.
if this filmmaker did see that, I am 100% sure. Of course, the government got wind of that.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to go now move the bodies, remove them, whatever,
Whatever. Yeah.
because government doesn't want to be caught red-handed, and they never do.
Of course.
So,
Yeah. Oh my. That is spookily though. Because, like, if you just stop and sit and, like, try and picture it in your head, you're like, wow, that's some freaky fucking shit. My ass wouldn't
right,
dive down there. I'm not trying to hang out with all those dead people. Like,
right.
no. So that's a good find. Where did you? Oh, this was TikTok. This is, yeah,
This one was TikTok, yeah.
this is a wild one.
Well, I
So,
found Mingo on my own, but the dance floor Tahoe was
yeah,
TikTok, and then I realized they were kind of both on the shorter side, and I could merge them
into
together.
one super
So,
mysteries set of Tahoe. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. If I was a diver at all, I would say let's go dive for it, but I'm very much not.
That's not something I want to see. I'm okay.
Also, it sounds like a little chilly Billy, you know? Like it's like pretty cold down
Yeah, that's where
if,
I'm like, I don't like being cold. Let's,
maybe not. But
yeah.
I'm down to
I
have
like
a
sweater
fire
weather where I
after.
can be in a sweater and warm.
Yeah, like let's make some s'mores, bitch. We don't need to dive in like, I don't know, 20, 10 degrees, some odd, however fucking cold water it is to like preserve that shit
Thank
that
you.
well. Wow, that was wild. Well done, you. Good. You have found so many interesting topics. Like, round of applause to you. I'm
Thank you
so
so
proud.
much because again, like
Well
when you
done.
asked me to if I wanted to do this, I was like, I'm only doing this if I know I can like not disappoint.
Oh
So
my
I,
god.
more than
Never.
anything, I was like, can I be prepared for like say a year? And that came the 52 topics,
And here we are.
and here we are. So
I love it.
I just
Uh,
hope that the listeners all feel the same way.
oh my god. I know they do. The listeners, the Odd Fam's the best fam. I could go on and on about this.
Oh,
So
they truly
of
are
course
though,
they love
and
you.
like there's been several who have messaged, and I'm like, you're gems. I love you.
Just little spooky baby angels. We love them. All right. Well, so my topic is also a TikTok inspo, but I actually like once I started reading about it and shit, I was like, oh, I wonder if that one night that's what Corey and I saw. So we'll get into it. But anyway, I'm covering what is probably the world's dumbest cryptid with the dumbest fucking name. I'm covering the not deer. That's it. Not as in NOT. Like, this is not a deer. Like, whoever came up with this name, like, really is the least creative individual in the universe. Like, I mean, really. They didn't even do, like, undeer. It's just the not The not
Not
deer.
deer. Not deer.
So, here we are in the Appalachian region, which, by the way, I'm pretty sure I heard back when I like went to school in West Virginia and stuff, that if you're from the area, it's actually like Appalachia. I say Appalachia.
I have a friend in the area. I'm going to call her and ask.
Yeah, ask her. Is it
I'm just going to ask
Appalachia?
her to say it so I know.
Yeah, like what region are you in? So anyway, the Appalachian/Appalachian region of the United States is allegedly home to like several well-known cryptids. Most notably, in my opinion, the Mothman, the love of my life. There's also the Appalachian Chupacabra, the Pennsylvanian White Bigfoot. There's like a whole slew of them, and like I've lived in Appalachia on a couple of occasions in my life now. Like when I went to Marshall, I was out that way. When Corey and I lived in our last house, technically it was part of Appalachia, roughly. So it's kind of a wild area. There's also like a lot of crazy lore. There's like Appalachian magic and witchcraft. I don't know. It's like a crazy time. So anyway, to that list, we can now add like many more recent reported sightings of what is being called the not deer. It's so stupid. There are websites like 4chan, Reddit, Tumblr that are like hosts to like discussions of these alleged not deer sightings. And it's on TikTok. And it's like taken off with like, by the time I did this research, it was like over 35 million views with the hashtag not deer. Like millions. So anyway, unlike other cryptids, the not deer is characterized because it like not as a distinctly unknown animal, but rather how it appears or behaves in contrast to a very well-known animal, a deer. So, like, not deer are variously described as looking like a deer, but there's something, like, wrong. Like, there's something off there. So, either, like, it has forward-facing eyes, like a predator, instead of, like, over on the side, or, like, the eyes are just way too close together, a neck that's, like, a little bit too long, or the head's, like, misshapen, or, like, the legs are too short, or they're jointed and move in, like, very unnatural ways. And alleged sightings of this not deer have been reported mostly within Pennsylvania, but also North Carolina, and even up to Connecticut, which I don't consider to be Appalachia. That's like New England at this point, but whatever. And even some reported sightings as far away as like Texas and even fucking Norway.
Whoa.
So how did we get over there? I don't know. But anyway, despite millions of views associated with the hashtag of not deer on TikTok, there are a few videos on TikTok of alleged sightings, and many are either users like sharing their stories or duetting with like the few videos that are out there of supposed sightings of it. So like there's one video and a user shares, quote, "I was out at my grandparents' house here," with zero indication of where here is, by the way. But anyway, they were hiking. "I'm walking around the woods like the cryptid I am when a few yards ahead of me I see a doe." By the way, I love that this person referred to themselves as a cryptid. I'm like, good. "So, my natural reaction is to stop because I've seen does out here before and I just want to take a minute to like look at her. I don't want to spook her." And then it says, "However, she turns and looks at me in the eyes and I notice that all of her knees are bent backwards. Any direction a deer knee is supposed to go, her knees don't." That would make me shit. I would flat out right there in the woods does a Cassie shit in the woods?
That made my stomach just turn.
When we've got joints facing the wrong direction, no thank you.
No, thank you.
No, absolutely not. So this author that like I pulled a lot of this information from, they reached out to the person who posted that on where exactly the supposed sighting occurred and what exactly that the person meant by the deer's knees like being bent backwards, because technically deer don't actually have knees. But anyway, they never received a response on it. And in the absence of any corroborating evidence, like, we're just saying this is like an anecdotal thing, basically. One of the most popular TikTok videos of not deer has like 2 million views. It's got like 450,000 likes. It was uploaded by this user called @Donna Ballin. I don't know, whatever. This was back in 2021. It was July of 2021. And it does in fact contain a sighting of like something weird. Were you going to say something?
There were like a few 2 or 3 months ago, there was like a video roaming around about this deer running out of the bushes, but its head was upside down.
Oh!
And its neck was weird, and it was like, oh, it must have gotten hit by a car and survived. But now I'm thinking, is that not deer?
Maybe it's the fucking not deer. I don't know. Like,
That's what's blowing my mind right now.
I know. Well, wait till I tell you my fucking story about this shit. So anyway, what's interesting about this video is the person in it sounds like extremely calm. They refer to the animal as a deer instead of a not deer, and they even laugh at it while it's just standing there facing this person. And the author of like that wrote a lot of this says that they reached out to this person too and asked if he believed what he saw was a not deer, and the guy goes, quote, "It's just a deer. The reserve it's on is home to various deer with deformities and injuries. Not frightened because I see a deer often, just never out in the open like that. Many hide due to past trauma with hunters or traffickers or, things of that nature." So it kind of like, at first glance, all this seems to be kind of like a rather recent phenomenon, right? Like within the last couple of years. But there is a little bit of an older history to it. So if you go on Reddit, there's like this r/not deer. And there's like a cross post from another subreddit, and it's creepy green text. I love these subreddit channel names. And it was made by a Redditor, and like and that was in 2019. Then there's another post that's like even older from 2014, and in the post, this person claims to have been walking through the woods one night, and they noticed something like moving across a field from them, like maybe 30 yards away or so, and they describe it as, quote, "really weird looking thing with pointed ears and an elongated snout, crossing my path on all fours while moving in a way that reminded me of a deer trying to learn how to walk immediately after having been born. Only it doesn't look like a deer, more of a cobbled together toy of one, and it's fucking enormous." Gross. Isn't that gross? It's spooky. So anyway, it can go back like several years, and then there's one more, and like somebody makes a post on Tumblr, and the user asks, "What do you mean that's not a deer in the mountains near you?" To which somebody replies, "Anyone who spends a decent amount of time in Appalachia knows the not deer. More or less, it's what I'd call a folk cryptid. Everybody has their story about it. They're all somewhat similar. You're in a car at night in a rural, heavily wooded area, probably a little bit lost. It's not wildly uncommon to see like a possum crossing the road or see blips of other little animals with your headlights, and you see a deer, so you and your friends go, 'Oh, a deer,' and slow down in case it leaps in front of you," which I can heavily attest to this. This was like my whole life growing up in New Jersey because there was fucking deer everywhere. And then you see it more clearly, and there's just something like wrong about it. Usually it's something about its eyes, and you can feel your stomach get really heavy like a rock, and the hair on your neck raises, and you sense intelligence where you shouldn't. And it doesn't move like a deer. It moves like a, "oh God, what is that thing?" And whatever that thing is, it's not a deer, and we need to leave. And so you hit the gas and you get the hell out of there. And I'm like, wow,
what is that?
This is exactly what I would do. So yeah, I don't know. There's this professor, Stephen Giancarella, who's a professor of folklore studies at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. He responded to this author stating, quote, "The term not deer isn't popular in Connecticut right now, at least not so that I could find in recorded places. Given what you sent me, it's clear that the term comes from Appalachia, so it's entirely possible that the name has penetrated Connecticut like parlance and is still being shared by small folk groups like hunters or teenagers and will become more popular over time. But I think I can say with firm standing that the name of that cryptid is not yet popular in contemporary Connecticut lore." And that was in 2021. So, like, it's this whole thing that's, like, stemming out of Appalachia, but now thanks to, like, social media, it's, like, spreading up into, like, New England and all these other areas, even fucking Norway, which is, like, crazy. So, the characterization of not deer as something trying to imitate a deer has led some to begin, like, arguing that not deer stories, like, that it actually stems from some Native American belief systems, with, like, some comments being like, it could be a connection to the Wendigo, or, like, it sounds like a skinwalker. We've covered both of these topics on here. And, sorry, you still there? Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
I'm still here.
My dad tried calling me, so sorry about that. Anyway, like, so the Wendigo is like an evil spirit basically characterized by its, like, insatiable hunger for human flesh. And it's, like, gaunt to the point of emaciation. It's, like, the skin is, like, pulling tightly over its bones, like, all of that fun stuff. And then there's, like, the skinwalkers, which is, like, I guess a little more obvious. Like, according to Navajo, I think it's mostly Navajo folklore, skinwalkers were, like, practitioners of witchcraft capable of shape-shifting. And like to me that could like maybe make a little more sense. Where it's like, well, maybe it's like in between shape shifting, so like, and then steps out into the road and it just looks like a little fucked up because like
It
maybe just
wasn't done.
a
It
little
wasn't ready.
confused. It wasn't ready. I don't know. So like I could see that to an extent. I don't know, but I think there's a lot more logical explanations of it. But let me, and I'll get to some of these, but let me share my story first, real quick. So
Yeah.
where we used to live in Pennsylvania, I mean, we're still in Pennsylvania, but a different part of it. It was like, and you've heard me speak about it. It's like it was quite rural, heavily wooded. There was a drive-in theater like 35 minutes from us, so we would go to the drive-in sometimes in the summer. It was like
Yeah.
very cool. And on the drive back, it's always like by the time it finishes, it's almost midnight. Like it's really dark. There are no street lights on the drive back and anything like that. We're driving back, and out into the road steps this deer. First of all, this was the largest fucking stag I've ever seen in my life. It was totally gray, and it's missing one leg. And the leg, though, and here's the freakiest part: it was missing a leg, and there was enough of it like at the shoulder of it where like there was just this little stump that would like move like it was walking, and it was the freakiest fucking thing we've ever seen in our lives. Granted, I wholeheartedly believe it was probably either it was a birth defect or there are some like there's bears out there, or like, you know, maybe it was hit by
Yeah.
a car that like I don't know. So like I wholeheartedly believe that like it was something like that. But I gotta tell you, when we fucking saw that thing in our headlights in the middle of the fucking night on this like fucking deserted ass road, black as all
Scared
hell,
the shit out of you.
it scared the fucking shit out of us. We were like, what the fuck was that? And all we could do was watch this thing, and it's like a ghost limb. Like, it was crazy.
That's bizarre.
So I guess what I'm saying is, it's like, I could totally believe these people that might come across deer that have, like, either some sort of, like,
Deformities.
deformity or, like, got into an accident and see it in the middle of the night and be like, what the, that wasn't a fuck, I don't know what the fuck that was, you know, hence
Yeah.
the not deer. But there are, like, there are some other explanations, right? So, according to the CDC, there's something called chronic wasting disease, CWD, that affects deer, and they might exhibit drastic weight loss, stumbling, listlessness, and other like neurologic systems to go with it, like decreased interactions with other animals, lowering of the head, blank facial expression, repetitive like walking in circles or other weird patterns, like excessive salivation, drooling, grinding of the teeth. And like it like will sometimes heavily foam at the mouth and like seem frozen in time, like it's hypnotized, just staring into nothingness. And like there's another one called epizootic hemorrhagic disease, or EHD, which causes a lot of similar symptoms like the emaciation, loss of motor control, fever, like swelling at the neck and head, which might like cause it to
Yeah.
maybe look a little deformed, difficulty breathing, and zero fear of humans. So they'll just like come up to you like all jacked up, you know.
Okay.
So like there's like a lot of like zoonotic diseases. There's all like if you're, you know, people, there are like hit and runs all over. Like growing up in where I did in New Jersey, like it was like roadkill left and right. I mean, we saw like deer on the side
Yeah.
of the road and all kinds of shit. Like to me, it's not at all impossible that most of this can be explained by either by disease or like accidents or like predators or whatever. But that's the not deer. It's just this crazy thing that's like it's a spooky campfire story basically for the digital age that's like making its way around TikTok and shit. And it's nuts.
I love that was this is a really good topic, and I'm like,
Thanks.
what's crazy, the whole friggin' TikTok thing is pretty sure TikTok knows that I'm a co-host for
I
an
know.
Oddities podcast, right?
Yeah.
But secondly, like when you started talking about the deer, and then you're talking about these like the backwards knees and the deformities, and then I think about the video I saw on frickin' TikTok of this
Yep.
deer with, you know, clearly, I don't know what to say, other than
Something.
just deformed,
Yeah.
and the head was like completely like
Yeah.
like just. And you know
Dude.
what? It was not scared of the person that was filming. It stopped and stared at the person. So that makes me go, okay, is it that
That disease.
the whatever disease
Yeah.
or whatever, or is it not deer?
We just don't know. And that's like the
Well,
thing about like places that are more rural in nature and places like Appalachia and things like that where like it's so many woods, there's so many like unexplored areas and like shit like that that
Yeah.
you can easily be like, yeah, it's, and plus like Appalachia itself is just like a really interesting region in just how much like folklore and like not like a cult,
Big
but like
time.
belief in the witchcraft and stuff like it like really
Yeah.
proliferates, and it's like kind of like the perfect breeding ground for something like the Not Deer to like a story like that to come to fruition, you know?
Also, when you said witchcraft shapeshifting, all I thought of was Professor McGonagall.
I love that.
So that's where my brain went. Straight to Harry Potter.
I love that
No
for
big
you.
deal.
I love that so much. But yeah, anyway, that's the Not Deer. Do I believe in it? Probably not. But I still think it's a really interesting thing, and I love that it's spreading around on social media because you know what it harkens back to for me. Do you remember like back in the days of flip phones when you get those crazy chain messages like forward on to 7 friends or this bitch
Yep.
is gonna come get you in the middle of the night? Like it reminds me of that, but TikTok now.
Yep.
You know?
TikTok's new generation of that.
Yeah, everything comes full circle always, folks. Nobody has an original idea at the end.
Never.
So anyway, let us know what you think on both of these topics.
Please do. We look
This is
forward
a
to
hell of an
hearing from you.
episode. Yeah. And I'm gonna do it this time. Until next time.
Stay strange.
Woo!